Hello. Today, I want to talk about a 1996 film called Swingers, directed by Doug Liman. It's a lighthearted film, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it explores all of those embarrassing moments you find while dating. So the film follows Mike, who's an aspiring comedian slash actor who is struggling to move past his previous relationship. So he seeks guidance from his overly confident pal Trent on how to approach women. Mike constantly brings up his ex during conversation, which bugs Trent to no end, so much so that it motivates him to get Mike laid by any means necessary. This goal that Trent has kind of reminds me of the plot to Sideways, where Thomas Hayden Church makes it his life mission to get Paul Giamatti laid. So to give some broader context, during the late 90s, California was experiencing a revival of swing-era music from the 30s and 40s. There was an influx of bands playing jump blues and rockabilly at various clubs, such as the Brown Derby in LA and the Club Deluxe in San Francisco. There's a scene in this film in particular where the band The Big Bad Voodoo Daddy performs while Mike is swing dancing with Lorraine, played by Heather Graham, and slowly gaining his confidence back. While the film is a time capsule, to say that the film registered with me personally would be a bit of a stretch. The film plays homage to a music scene that was blazing hot at one point in time, but when I look at it, I can't see it in any other way other than being just corny. Whether it's the zoot suits or just the slick lingo, for me it's just not my cup of tea, because it feels like anyone that is paying homage to this music scene is just trying too hard to be noticed and to be liked, and I think that goes against how I personally operate in my own life. It contains comedic tropes that probably had more zest during its initial release, such as the voicemail talking back to Mike, or him trying to leave a voicemail but it just sort of continuously cutting him off. While I understand it's important for those moments to reveal the pathetic side of his character, as far as it being an effective comedic device that plays nowadays, I would say it falls short of that. So as I stated earlier, the film doesn't really take itself too seriously, which is why there's no real reason given as to why the relationship was meaningful to Mike, other than the fact that it lasted for 6 years. There's no details given as to why he missed her or what about her that he was seriously longing for. All we get is that he was left on unstable ground and he has a hard time picking himself up, but not necessarily the specific moments in the relationship that he clings on to. I think giving an indication of those factors that made the relationship memorable to Mike, it might make his plight make a little bit more sense to us as the audience. But then again, this film isn't trying to delve into the drama of the situation, but trying to find opportunities to make fun of it. The turning point for Mike to overcome his rock bottom was an intervention from his friend to give him this simple life advice like, have gratitude and don't dwell on the negative. And to me, that advice is a little bit too generic and not realistic enough for Mike to overcome what we see him dealing with throughout the film and the paralysis of depression that he's in. I think it takes a little bit more introspection to sort of deal with those demons of having someone you care about leave you in a surprising fashion. Even the event that caused Mike's rock bottom was Nikki telling him never to call her again, and to me that felt like a weak excuse for you to shut yourself off from the rest of the world. I also felt that the scenes referencing other movies like Reservoir Dogs and Goodfellas were just kind of unnecessary and were a little bit self-indulgent from the screenwriter's part. It didn't really have much to do with the rest of the story or the characters themselves. While the film pays respects to a time that preceded it, it also deviates from the machismo culture of men from a different era, specifically on how it foregrounds Mike, who is a timid and lost character, and not necessarily one of the characters that is propped up by Trent or any of the supporting characters that want to appear as flashy and cool and appear like as if nothing bothers them. So while Mike yearns to be more confident, he's also turned off by the performative shtick that Trent uses to impress the ladies. The film mocks the stereotypical flash of a swinger and all those arbitrary rules that men follow to make themselves appear more mysterious. Mike's journey to fully realizing that he's so money on his own terms is relatable, especially if you're somebody that feels pretty insecure about dating. His character is encouraging to someone who's in their own way more often than not due to their level of self-awareness. Trent has little to no shame and is only concerned with bringing a girl home to bed with no sense on what happens after the deed is done. This film was a comedic breakthrough for Vince Vaughn, and shades of his star presence can be seen in this role. As you can see in the roles that he's chosen throughout the years, he's very much okay with being unlikable, and much like Trent, he double downs on being aloof, which is where a lot of the comedic situations arise. All in all, this is a lighthearted watch, and it doesn't really give you much to pick apart, but instead you enjoy the bromance that happens from beginning to end, and all the twists and turns that come within the conflicts that they find themselves in, and a lot of the embarrassing, relatable moments that happen during dating. So, was this a film that totally blew my mind? No, not all of them have to. And instead, this is a film that you can watch and simply just lay back and enjoy and not really delve into the subtext of what everything means. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.